Hello traders, welcome to today's video. It is Tuesday the 16th of January 2024. This is your update on the Bitcoin price. And it has been kind of sideways for the past couple of days after the Friday dump, which came back into the yearly open and very slightly below. Then we had a bunch of people being like, oh my god, we're gonna dump again on Sunday night, which was a really relatively straightforward situation in order to go long and get a first take profit as we took out the weekend highs here yesterday. So I'm in this long position. I'm also obviously still short from when we took out the 2022 yearly highs, the 618, the value area high of the previous range, one of those like very easy trades to catch. And part of me just thinks like, surely it cannot be this easy. Okay, this has been the plan for a very long time. When we had this move down here, I was expecting maybe a little bit longer. Actually, the last update I did, we were kind of looking for a little bit more of a rise up to give another entry around about that 48k to go to add into that position. But yeah, as so far as of yet, going very much according to plan. Going back on here to the lower time frames, just to cover those very quickly. Right now, as we see this, so far today, just trending up, but very, very slow, very, very low volume. Nothing too much to discuss. We are holding the VWAP, so price is holding above that VWAP. I do believe if we can see some continuation above those Monday highs, that can lead us to a point where we come up into that previous week open towards these highs here at 44k. And at that stage, I think it starts to become very interesting, because what we have is straight line down, and what we will have, I can guarantee this, if price is to make its way up to 44k, there will be a lot of people that try to short at this level, expecting it to come back down to new lows. And for me, I'd say that that increases the probabilities that we see this continue to squeeze. And the main area for myself really is looking at that 46,200 area, more so than 44k, which is, I think, the target for a lot of people. So as we are at the moment, I see one of two scenarios playing out as being the most likely. Okay, three. The move up, first of all, being that we do come to 44k and then we retrace and just continue this range and we extend this range. I think that's a little bit less likely. I do believe if we are going to get a test of 44, then we'll be able to see a squeeze that takes price higher, back up towards those highs again, getting everyone bullish. Or if this is going to go lower, I do not anticipate a move up to happen before the move lower. I think that having taken out the weekend highs here would probably be enough. You lose VWAP, you lose daily open at this stage, and then we're looking for a sweep of these lows. Okay, so yeah, realistically, the next move is going to give the clarity on this. If we move up, I think we see expansion higher still. If we move down, I do believe it's just going to be a sweep of the lows we put on Friday, and then we continue this range overall. So those are the two trades that I'm mainly looking at. Short 46,200, maybe a scalp at 44, and then longs from our range lows. There's not really a particular reason to come back and visit those. Okay, we can see that we had the bounce, came back in, deep retrace, came back in, internal lows swept. So looking at this as getting a bit of floatiness back up. However, New York trading again today for the first time since obviously last week. And we do need to be aware of the potential for continued selling from GBTC. There is a bit of a gap to fill still on here, and maybe a bit more outflows before we start to see this settle down. We'd obviously love to see something like this, but let's see how it goes. When we look at the macro, we've actually just done the London trading room with the crew this morning, and I've been looking at this. And the thing is, okay, I said a little something on here. Like, write this down, write down your plan for what's going to happen, because I know so many people, okay, that have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We've been speaking about this for so long, all right? 2022 yearly highs, value area high of the entire bull market, golden pocket 618 from your all-time high to your FTX crash lows. Yet so many people missed the chance to A, take profit, and B, short at this level because, and this is just very, very normal, and it happens to me, it'll happen to you, it'll happen to everybody, no matter how long they've been in the market for. You'll get caught up in emotion when you get to extremes. It's normal, it happens. But make a plan beforehand and just execute it as if it was anything else. So write this to yourself right now. Like, if you think at this stage that Bitcoin comes and takes out all-time highs and you're going to get a correction from that point, write it down and make sure you do it when it happens at that point. This is what I did when we ended up going up to 48k. I did the same when we hit the previous year open the first time when we had that move, and then got a bit of a retrace from that. I did the same when we had that retrace of 38k. Write it down, don't get caught up in emotions, just execute it before it happens, because at that point when you're writing it, it's logical, okay? It's making sense to you. You have no emotion in that. And I think it's the very same thing that we're looking at right now, where if this does start to correct, okay, two levels that you can be mainly aiming for. First of all, 38k, back test of the POC. Now, for myself, I would look at long positions there. However, I would consider that to have lost the yearly level, and I would at that stage be looking for further move to the downside. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because for me, the best opportunity, the absolute gift that the market, I don't think this is still the most likely option. I still do believe that this can go higher. I don't know if we're still if Bitcoin is still immature enough to give those 40% dips. I think we might see that the buying pressure does start to outweigh that before we get there. However, if there is to be a big 40% correction that takes us down towards $30,000 again, there is so much confluence there that for me would be an absolute no-brainer to buy. You're going back down into the value area low. You're starting to fill what was value from the previous bull market, and you're starting to trade within that range once again. You've got anchored VWAP from your low all the way down here, coming up and giving you support. You've got the moving averages on the daily, which are kind of where we are right now. But then if you're looking at the weekly, this 200 MA will start to be sloping up into that area also. Now, coincidentally, 200 moving average is where the COVID crash lows settled, and that is where we eventually got that move up. So if anyone is looking for a black swan event, a move down that's going to give a serious correction, then if you want something like this, this is where you got to be looking, is that 30 to 32k area. Okay, at that point, you will feel too scared to buy if you have not already planned to buy it. Guarantee it. Okay, it will happen. You will be too scared. So best option for you to do now is, if you want to do that, because if this happens, all right, there will be a shitload of FUD in the entire market. There will be stuff happening. There will be some crazy stuff happening. I'd imagine maybe we find out that Binance is closing, or maybe we find out that America have completely banned derivatives trading, unless you are trading, I don't know, completely banned derivatives trading because it's a spot ETF now. So you can only trade the spot ETF. And there'll be all these weird things. Maybe war in China is going to happen at some stage. Those kind of things, okay? Another COVID, whatever. There'll be FUD, okay? If price is to correct this far down, there will be FUD. And you need to be aware for when that happens, and you need to be able to think rationally. So write it down. If we are to get a gift that takes us down to 30k, for me, that would be a rational area in which to buy. And if this high was this easy, yet you missed it, then a move back down here could well be the same scenario. Now, I'm just saying that because there's not really anything else to say on the chart right now. And this is something that we spoke about within the trading room that I think is just an interesting thing to note within a video like this today, where people are like, oh, is the top in, or are we going to correct? Oh, what's going on? Overall, I don't really care. Like, I'll just trade this every day anyway. But yeah, something useful to know. there's nothing too much more to say. Again, weekly close from last week looked absolutely terrible. So be aware of the weekly level that we do have there. That is confluence again for that 44k. So the weekly previous week open is 44k as confluence. This being the first like engulfing just by a body weekly candle that we've had since this top or this top, both of which led to further corrections. But on the same side of things, the last time that we've had any high volume candles from the perspective of like actually putting in like relative high volume, it's always resulted in a pretty decent bounce as well. So yeah, reasons for both sides of the market. Like I say, for me overall, 44k looks a little bit too easy. So if this does start to move up, I would anticipate 46 being a bit more likely. And if we are going to roll over, I think that can happen without taking the highs once again. And then we're looking for 38 first of all, and then a further correction down towards that 32k after that, if there is to be a bearish backtest, of course, of the yearly level. Nothing else more to say on this today. We're approaching negative funding on a bunch of things. So if I just quickly bring up the... don't have it loaded. Oh, here we go. No, it's over here. Then we're looking at funding starting to creep into negative funding territory, certainly on the likes of BNB and TIA, which is hilarious because it just keeps making new all-time highs and people are still trying to short this. And it's just such high negative funding that just chill in your long positions and you make a load of money. It's still a bull market. Like so many people just trying to short this still. Which is very funny to me because TIA like every day makes a new all-time high. But anyway, that's completely off topic. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there because there's not too much more to say as we are right now. We've just got to wait for a bit more clarity. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.